Hi, I'm Jen Starr, and we're going to make this great 12 by 12 canvas with 3 different gel press plates. So we're going to start with the Rose Mandala, which is one of our new Impressables. One of mine, actually. We're going to do an 8-inch round plate, and we're going to focus on the 12 by 12 for the rest of the techniques. So let's get started. So we're going to start on the 12 by 12 plate using Dina Wakley acrylic paints from Ranger. I'm using lapis and a purple. I'm going to brayer them out, not too thick. I want to make sure I get them fairly thin, not too goopy. And this is the new Impressible Rose Mandala. This is one of my signature designs, so I'm excited to be doing a video with this one. And what I'm doing is using them. The mandala is 7 by 7, and I have it mounted on a 8 by 8 acrylic mount from Joggles. We love these. It's a big acrylic block basically that helps it have a little more stability when you want to stamp with it. So what I'm doing is stamping into the wet paint to remove some of the paint in that image of the mandala. I'm going all the way around it, and I'm stamping the paint off onto a scrap piece on the side, which of course I'll use in my art journal later. I'm using a 12 by 12 piece of this is Canson 90-pound watercolor paper. And I like this particular one because it's fairly smooth. Cardstock really doesn't matter. You can use pretty much anything you want to. I just like the smoothness of this one so I don't have to work with all of the texture of some of the other cardstocks. So here's my print. See how it gives you that tone-on-tone look with the details? Of course, I'm going to go in and pick up a second print because there's more paint left on there. And that'll go in an art journal later. And then we're going to go in for the pickup print. The pickup print is what we're going to use for the borders later. And basically this is going to take the dried paint that's left on there. These are usually my favorites. I'm adding some pink paint on top of this. And I'm going to brayer this out fairly thin. You want this a little bit thinner, lighter paint. And what's going to happen is I'm going to set this aside to dry for a few minutes. And it will pick up the skin of the dried paint underneath it with it. So it gives it basically a really pretty print in one shot. So I'm just laying this print down, and I'm going to add a second piece on the side just so I use up every little bit of it. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry. Okay, while that pink print is drying, we're going to go back to the main print, which is now dry. I'm going to use the 8-inch round plate with some pink Dina Wakley paint. And I'm going to add a little purple to it and blend those colors together. This is a nice heavy body acrylic paint, so it's going to stamp very nicely and fairly opaque over the darker color. I'm adding a 12 by 12 stencil. This one's from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm just placing a print over this. This is just for scrap or for something to add in my art journal later. But what this is doing is this first initial print is actually removing some of the paint. So I'll have a tone-on-tone effect in that design. I'm going to stamp that right in the center of that 12 by 12 print. Let that dry for a minute. And then here's my favorite part. I'm going to use the 8-inch round again. This time I'm going to use it just as my paint palette to get the paint on my brayer. I'm brayering on the paint onto the mandala so I just get the high spots. Add a little light blue this time, a little sky blue I believe it was. And I'm stamping that in the center of that pink. Love it! Okay, back to that pickup print. It's been drying maybe 8 to 10 minutes. And this is it dried to the skin that was already dry in there. So I got the pink, the purple, and the blue all in one shot. Cleans off my plate at the same time, which is an extra bonus. And there it is. I'm going to cut those into 1.5 by 12-inch strips now. Those are going to get adhered to the side of my canvas, wrapped around with double-sided tape to form a nice little border. Okay, here comes the fun part. We're going to start embellishing the mandala. I'm using Viva Decor pearl pens for this, and basically we're going to doodle with dimension. So I'm going to start just very loosely. I'm going to make some teardrop shapes with the pearl pens. I'm going to squeeze heavier at first and kind of flick it out to give it a little teardrop shape. And I'm going to work my way around. Most important thing to remember with this is don't squeeze too hard. You always want to get it going and primed and off to the side on a scrap paper before you go right on your canvas. Although it does wipe off quite easily with a little water. The other important thing to remember is you want to rotate your canvas. It is movable. So if your arm gets awkward in a weird direction, it's not going to be as easy to get a nice precise line on here, especially when you get into this doodling like this where we're going to start outlining. So I'm going to go around. I'm using a combination of ice white, light blue, and silver chrome for this. Love these. So this is going to dry with dimension, pearlescent, and give a nice little shine and added interest to your canvas. So we're going to go all the way around. I'm just going to doodle as we go, small dots, little dots, doodling around the edges. That's basically it. Have fun with this part. This is my favorite part. Of course, there's always glitter pens too. You can add glitter, you can add stickles, anything like that. It's all fun. You can, of course, get out the markers too if you wanted to and get some white gel pen, or I always like a white Sharpie marker, works great as well. And then it all gives you great effects.